All right, this is Excel level 5th grade, lesson number 70. Lesson 70 for Excel 5th grade, and what you're going to be learning today, determining the question when given the information and the answer, and then estimating which answer is most reasonable. And some of these can be a little tricky, but I don't think you have too much trouble. For the following problems, you will be given information and an answer. You will need to choose the correct question. Normally they give you a question and then you have to find the answer. That's going to go the other way around. So let's take a look at number 1, the sample problem. Jackson earns $7 an hour. Last week he worked for 2 hours. The answer is 14. What is the question? How much money did he earn last week? Well, yes, that would be the correct question, because if he makes $7 an hour and he works for 2 hours, 2 times 7 is 14. How much money does he earn per hour? That's not the correct question, because the answer would be 7. Right up here it says he makes $7 an hour. So the answer to that one would be 7, not 14. And we're looking for a question with the answer of 14. Letter C, how much did he earn for working 4 hours? Well, if he worked for 4 hours at $7 an hour, that would be $28 that he would make, not 14. The only one that produces an answer of 14 is choice A. Why don't you go ahead and give number 2 a try, and pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, Brittany bought a blouse that cost $9 and a jacket that cost $20. She gave the clerk $30. The answer is 29. What is the question? How much was her change? How much money did she spend? How much money did she give the clerk? Well, if the answer is 29, you can see that 9 and 20 makes 29. So if she buys these two things at $9 and $20, that sounds like how much she's spending. You do need to show your work. She spent 20 plus 9, equals $29. And the reason this is not the question, how much was her change? Her change would be $1 because she gave the clerk $30. By the way, this is extraneous information. It's extra information that has nothing to do with the problem that you're trying to solve. How much money did she give the clerk? It tells you how much she gave the clerk right there, of $30. The answer to that one is not $29, so that one doesn't make sense either. Correct choice is B. Okay, go ahead and try numbers 3 and 4. Pause the video and then restart it when you're ready to see the solution. Melanie scored 3 goals in her top 6 games and 2 goals in 9 other games. The answer is 15. What is the question? Well, by looking at this, I can see a 9 and a 6. And I know that those add to be 15. So let's think, before we even look at the choices, what that would be. That's 6 games and 9 games. That looks like a total number of games to me. How many goals did she score? No, that doesn't have anything to do with this. In how many games did she play? That looks like the correct choice. How many goals did she score in her best games? This is talking about goals, so that one doesn't make any sense either. And so it's how many games she played. You need to show your work of 9 plus 6, or 6 plus 9 equals 15. Number 4, at the amusement park, Jordan rode the Ferris wheel 7 times and the roller coaster 9 times. The answer is 16 was the question. Again, pretty obvious, the 7 and the 9 total up to be 16. So it looks to me like it's how many different rides that she went on. How many times did she go on the Ferris wheel? No, the Ferris wheel she rode 7 times, so that couldn't be it. How many times did she go on the roller coaster? No, she went on the roller coaster 9 times. How many total times did she go on a ride? That would be correct, and we show our work by showing how that equals 16. Okay, now we go into some estimation problems. For the following problems, you will need to select the answer that is the most reasonable. In order to determine the most reasonable, you will need to round each number so there is only one non-zero digit. At that point, use the rounded numbers to estimate the answer. Look at each of the possible choices to see which answer comes closest to your estimate. The biggest mistake kids make on these is that they find the exact answer instead of rounding to find their answer. Make sure, if they give you multiple choice and the answers are obviously not the exact answers, and it says something like this, or estimate in the problem, that you round the numbers before you do the math. So she works 26 hours in a week, which is the most reasonable for how many she works in a year. What we have to know then is how many weeks are in a year. There are 26 weeks in a, 52 weeks in a year. She's working 26 hours each week. So you're going to show your work by rounding each one of those numbers. 26 would round to 30, 52 would round to 50, and we have to multiply them together. I got 2 zeros, put down my 2 zeros, 3 times 5 is 15, so she's going to work about 1,500 hours. Then you look over here at the 3 choices and you say which one of these is pretty close to 1,500. 130, that's nowhere near 1,500. 13,000, not even close to 1,500. So the correct choice would be 1,300, which is only a couple hundred off, and that is much closer than the other 2 choices. Okay, I want you to go ahead and try 6 and 7. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. In a recent fundraiser, 78 people ran 19 laps to raise money for the hospital. They earned $1 for each lap. Which choice is the most reasonable for the amount of money raised for the hospital? Okay, so there's 78 people running, and they're each running 19 laps. So that, and again, we have rounded answers, so we don't want to find an exact answer. You're going to do 80 times 20. If they each do about 19, that's 20 as rounded. Put the 2 zeros down. 8 times 2 is 16. So they're going to make about $1,600 for the hospital. Notice this choice here. They're trying to trick you. 16,000 is nowhere close to 1,600, but because there's a 1 and a 6 at the beginning, a lot of people are going to pick that one. 1,500 is really close to 1,600. By the way, when you reach consensus, you need to have your show work match as well, not just the same answer choice down here at the bottom. The show work has to match, so make sure you do that when you reach consensus. Oscar figured out that he was spending an average of $8.95 a day for food. Which choice is the most reasonable for how much money he spends in a week? So if he's going to do it every day, $8.95, and then he's 7 days, that means. So $8.95 rounds to 9. He's going to do that for 7 days. 9 times 7, $63 in a week, and the closest choice there is 62. All right, that's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching.